So, before we even start, I want to give a huge shout out to the Power Rangers community because y'all told me on Instagram, y'all told me on Twitter, and y'all even told your boy in the YouTube comment section, Marcus, you ain't got to have a stroke this week. Marcus, that item you have by your nose, put it down. You don't need that shit because Power Rangers Dino Charge is a good season of the show. And while I was watching this and coming up with what I was going to tell y'all for my review, I was struggling. Because I was like, damn, how do I sit in front of the camera and talk positively about Power Rangers for 30 plus minutes? How do I do that? Because we've been suffering on the channel for the past month. 2 seasons of Samurai, 2 seasons of Megaforce, and a whole separate review for the Legendary War. So things have been pretty fucked up on this channel. I have been in the shadow realm of depression. I have been in the shadow realm of regret. And I have been in the shadow realm of what the fuck. Because it has been some bullshit on this damn channel. Now, I got this blade. Because there are still Megaforce and Samurai demons all up in this damn room. So what we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready to relinquish them and talk about season 22 of Power Rangers. Prior to the year 2015, the Power Rangers franchise had adapted Dinosaurs 2 previous times in their history. We all know season 1 of Mighty Morphin revolved around dinosaurs. And of course, motherfucking Dino Thunder. Clap it up! Those 2 seasons are highly regarded in the history of the show. And when you talk about Dino Charge coming after the atrocity, the funeral that was Megaforce, Saban made a good decision and a good adaptation of its Sentai originator. So, the plot of Power Rangers Dino Charge goes like this. Many years ago, there's an alien named Keeper who has 10 Energems, which are some of the most powerful items in the entire universe. But he's being hunted by an evil space bounty hunter named Sledge. So he ends up hiding each individual Dino Gem with a dinosaur. And of course, those dinosaurs eventually die. And later on in the future, those Energems are found by Rangers from the current time period and the past that end up becoming the newest team of heroes for the planet Earth. Power Rangers Dino Charge. Now, for me as a comic book fan, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all, when you talk about there being 10 Energems and they're the most powerful items in the universe and there's so much potential with them, all being color coordinated, you think Thanos. You think Infinity Gauntlet. You think MCU. I automatically did, but this came out years before Avengers Infinity War, so we ain't got no issues there. And then, when you talk about Energems being bonded and related to dinosaurs, you automatically think Dino Gems from one of the best seasons in the franchise, Power Rangers Dino Thunder. So there are some similarities for us as fans to kind of grab onto, and I thought that was fine for the show. Once the episode begins, I was kind of shocked that it actually started off in outer space. We have a humongous spacecraft that is chasing down a much smaller pod. And once we go inside of the megaship, we see that it's being piloted by one of the big villains of the season. His name is Fury. And you see that he's chasing after the alien Keeper, most likely trying to get the Energems from him. After you see Fury in that quick shot, we see some other side villains, and then we see the ultimate big bad of the season, Sledge. Once you see Sledge, it's very quickly established that he's the head commander above everybody. Because he comes into the room rambling, talking about why ain't you get him yet? What's keeping y'all from getting this done? And then, of course, like every single Power Rangers villain, he has a throne. They all gotta get some type of throne for them to sit in and feel like a boss. So Sledge sits down in his throne, and there's this other monster that he's in a romantic relationship with, named Poisandra, that comes in rambling about when are they gonna get married. She's worried about him getting hurt. Hold on, pause. Now I'm starting to get a little pissed off when I first saw this, because it felt like it was a ploy to kind of get the rough, tough edges of a villain softened out, right? We have a villain here who's an evil space bounty hunter. So there's a little bit of ruthlessness already in the bounty hunter aspect. But of course, he has this awful, colorful looking villain, terrible costume, Poisandra, that's talking about wanting to get married. Oh my Jesus. Any type of balls Sledge had got snipped right there in that scene. Now just remember that, because it might play a role later on for this review. These are the three big things that stood out to me about episode 1 of Dino Charge. Let's go! Just like many seasons in the Neo Saban era of Power Rangers, they'll have a quick little plot synopsis that plays before the actual episode. And in that quick little plot synopsis, we actually see Keeper, the alien that has the Energems. And oh my God, does he look just as bad as Larigo does from the Power Rangers Turbo movie. I thought this motherfucker was gonna open his hand and go, ooh, with a little spell and shit. I thought he was gonna start dancing like the goddamn motherfucking little Furbies and shit from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I thought he was getting ready to be a fucking Ewok. I'm like, Jesus, he looks terrible. How do you make a costume that looks that low quality in 2015? Making the whole Keeper costume even more awkward. I believe he has CGI over his eyes. But the rest of him is not CGI. So it just looks really weird. It looks so weird when he talks, when he walks, even when the character has lines of dialogue that are important. His mouth is not syncing up with anything he says.
My name is Keeper. I assure you, I'm quite harmless. Energems harness untold powers of the universe.
It's like somebody in the editing room was supposed to do that, but then they kind of realized, oh shit, we're going to have to do some playing around with the CGI and the special effects, and that requires time. Time requires money. And Power Rangers don't like money. So they said, fuck that. We're going to make the lines match up to the best of their ability. Keeper looked bad the entire season. Porn parody. Now we're going to talk about Sledge, the ultimate big bad of the season, a little bit more later on. But one thing that made me really frustrated was that in the first episode, I felt like Sledge was really set up to be a dope villain for this franchise. The best villain since we had the evil AI in RPM. I thought that he was going to be that type of villain. Venjax, I thought he was going to be that, but he wasn't. One thing that kind of led me to think that he was going to be badass, this man has a jail cell on his spaceship. So he has multiple floors of monsters that are locked up in jail cells. That's a very creepy concept for a monster who's a bounty hunter that has no code, to the point where he's locking up other monsters that are doing dirt just like him. That's a great setup, because we haven't seen that since Rancic kind of had his mutant group of baddies in Time Force. But even Time Force didn't do it as good as this, because in Time Force, they were little shrunken toys in little capsules. Cringy. But for this, he was set up to be more, and ultimately he wasn't. Very disappointing, but the jail cell concept is dope. The last thing from episode 1, right? Towards the back end of the very first chapter, we get to see our Pink Ranger Shelby, who is the first Black Pink Ranger in the history of the franchise. Took too fucking long, but anyway, then you have Tyler, who is our Red Ranger. And he also is in a situation versus a Snow type of a monster where they both get access to their Ranger powers. Real quickly, the way they get access to their Ranger powers is about goofy as hell. We're going to talk about that later on. After they accidentally morph into the Red and into the Pink Ranger, they wind up doing a whole bunch of weird stuff where they're instantly tag teaming this monster, coming up with kicks and punches and combinations out of nowhere. I'm like, bruh, this ain't making no sense. I understand the morphing grid is a powerful place, right? It has so much energy, so much potential. But damn, I don't understand how they're doing all of this Power Ranger stuff in their first match. This is their first battle ever as Rangers, and they're automatically dominating. That was a little weird to me. But making it more awkward, immediately after their battle with this monster, they're in a car driving, talking about everything in the world except what the fuck just happened to them. They're talking about Tyler's father. They're talking about his journal. They're talking about Shelby's job. They're talking about the weather. They're talking about dinosaurs. I mean, Jesus. Y'all just transformed into Power Rangers. Don't y'all think that might be the first conversation you want to have? That was a little weird for me. But overall, I enjoyed the direction the first episode was going into. I really love this team of Power Rangers, y'all. Everybody on this squad is so damn likable, and you just root for these people all the time because of that energy they bring to the screen. Tyler, our Red Ranger, has that same sort of energetic charisma where you just want the best for the character. Very similar to the energy that we got from Wes in Time Force, or from Casey in Jungle Fury, where you're like, man, this is a likable guy. I want the best for him. And I thought even the story around him, they actually gave this Red Ranger a story. He not just running around like Troy from Megaforce, where, why you the Red Ranger? I don't know. But you the Red Ranger. I hate that shit. They gave Troy no story in Megaforce. But for Dino Charge, Tyler's father had gone missing many years ago. So Tyler has been on this hunt, hunting down different locations, different things his father had in a journal to try to put the pieces together on why his father has been missing all this time, so he can ultimately find him. And the way it was handled during the season was perfect because it was placed strategically in different points of the season so that it can get that right emotional pull from the audience, but it's not dominating the story like it did for Nick in Mystic Force, where that whole damn season became about Nick. No, here is just enough, but also they remember the team aspect of it being Power Rangers. That was beautiful because there's a point early on in the season where Tyler sees Fury. Fury is the monster connected to his father's disappearance, and he's getting ready to battle him. He runs off, and then later on, the Ranger team is talking to him like, hey man, look, you can't do that. We move as a team. We move as a unit. If one person falls, we all fall down.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, look, I wanted to apologize.
I was wrong to think you'd abandoned the team.
I'm sorry, too. I shouldn't have been so quick to go off on my own. Fact is, we work better together.
And the way Tyler accepted that criticism, the way he took that was really dope and makes him one of my most favorite Red Rangers in the franchise. Definitely top 10. Shelby, our Pink Ranger, is a waitress at the Dinosaur Museum, right? But when you first see her, she aspires to be more than that in life. Very similar to the story we got with Z from SPD or from Summer in RPM. Those Yellow Rangers wanted to be more. The Pink Ranger here wants to be more. And once you get past the first few episodes, you understand that. But early on, they did her no favor. They made her look thirsty as hell episode 1.
Wait up! Chase!
Hey, Sherry. You bringing me a present?
It shall be. So, Chase, going fossil hunting?
Yeah. Supposed to be a great find.
Triceratops? You're digging up my favorite dinosaur. See, it's right here.
I was watching this like, bruh, is she trying to get out of working at the damn burger place, or is she trying to get to working on something else? You understand? It was a little weird how they wrote that. They ain't do the sister no favors. Chase, our Black Ranger, has a swagger and an energy about him that's very similar to that of Xander from Mystic Force, which I thought was cool. Y'all know Xander's my most favorite Ranger from Mystic Force. He had that energy, that charisma, and Chase has that here. I thought he was a dope Ranger. Riley, our Green Ranger, is the brains of the operation. What I appreciated about the writers and what they did with his character, they actually stepped out of the box of traditional thinking. A lot of times, Power Ranger writers sit back and go, okay, put on some glasses. Yeah, you smart. Why am I smart? Because you got on glasses. And they're always thinking that simple. They've done that for too many damn seasons. And for Dino Charge, the way that he executes his intelligence is creative. It comes down to battle strategy. It comes down to patterns. It comes to the Rangers being in tough circumstances on the battlefield and him being the one that can freelance and think of something on the spot to save the team. Because his brain power works in conjuncture with that of Kendall, who's really like the Haley of Dino Charge, where she works at the command center on different Ranger projects. I thought Riley's character and how his brain power was shown, very, very creative and a big step up from Noah in Megaforce. Ha! The last Ranger we're going to talk about in the core team is Koda. Koda is our Blue Ranger. And damn, y'all, I got to be honest. The writers, y'all saved yourselves. Because I was getting ready to go the fuck in. Now, I saw a clip years ago of Dino Charge, maybe like 4 years ago, of the Blue Ranger. And he was acting a little bit weird. He really couldn't speak that well. And then I saw he was Asian. I was like, damn, Saban, that's kind of fucked up. You telling me the Asian man can't talk? That's fucked up. How did that end up on TV?
I'm Detective Carter. Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I can't wait to clown their ass one day. But nope. The reason Koda actually acts weird is because he was a former caveman who got his Energem first before everybody else. And then, of course, he got frozen over. And now here he is in modern times. If you get the Energem, you don't age. So that's why Koda still looks like he's in the prime of his life, so to speak. Now, the issue I have with Koda is that it's not revealed he's an actual caveman until episode 4, right? Episode 1, 2, and 3, he's acting pretty normal. Yeah, he has his little quirky moments, but I thought that was just Power Rangers comedy. It isn't revealed to episode 4 he's a fucking caveman. So I'm like, did y'all forget to have this man do caveman stuff the first few episodes? It was a little awkward. I feel like when a lot of people talk about Ranger costumes in the franchise, they always speak about different costumes from different eras that really pop on screen. But as I continue to watch the first season of Dino Charge, I kept looking at these costumes. And about every few episodes, I found a detail in them that was really well done. And it made sense. I kept on finding more new things to really love about these costumes. When you look at the Ranger costumes for Dino Charge, the helmet is in the shape of a dinosaur mouth, which first off, that shows growth from where the franchise has been previously. Mighty Morphin, it was just dinosaur eyes and a visor. Same thing in a way with Dino Thunder, but it was a little bit more designed to the individual dinosaur. Now when you get to Dino Charge, it's like a dinosaur's mouth is open with teeth markings at the bottom and at the top of the helmet. I thought that was really damn cool. Just for the helmet, it kind of gave them this Tron type of a vibe, right? This lunar helmet. I thought it was really cool. Then you look at the vest on their chest. It has that big strap going down the middle that gives them this harder, violent type of a look. But the clothes underneath the vest are an off color. So Tyler's the Red Ranger, but the sleeves that come out of the vest are burgundy. That complements the red. I thought it looked beautiful on screen, especially in some of those action shots.
Destroy them! Let's do this! Down you go! You can't get me! How do you like this?
Even one more detail. When you look at their actual gloves, their gloves have this metal padding on the back end with spikes. So it adds a little bit more grit to the hand-to-hand combat that we got from this season. Awesome detail, awesome suits. Now, this is gonna be for my hardcore watchers, right? My hardcore Marcus Digital Power Ranger Review watchers. Y'all know, every few seasons I'll start complaining about there being too much Sentai. These people ain't trying to tell their own story. They only want to copy and paste. But when you look at Dino Charge, they were actually trying to tell their own damn story. Marcus, they use Sentai footage. Yes, they do. Every season of Power Rangers is always going to use Sentai footage. But can the Sentai footage actually be used as an assist to the story you're telling, or is the Sentai footage being used as the main tool? And when it came to Dino Charge, it was assisting the main footage. I felt like some of the most pivotal points of the season, whether we're talking about in suit or whether we're talking about out of suit, were multiple instances where it's American footage, because these writers, the directors, they're trying to tell a story that's different from the Sentai counterpart. And that's what Power Rangers should always be. You shouldn't want to follow in the footsteps of what the Sentai did, because that was for that audience in a completely different part of the world. Make a story that the American people can vibe with and the American people can rock with. And that's what they did for Dino Charge. I thought the Sentai footage was key in certain moments of action, and that was it. Everything else was American footage. Very ambitious, and it made me so goddamn happy. Shit. Hold on. Almost forgot to talk about the villains. Y'all know we gotta chop it up about these awful ass villains. Now, first off, before we get to each individual main villain, let me tell y'all this. I have not seen a group of villains that are this damn colorful since we went to Lord Thor's ship and Ninja Storm. These villains have an awful color palette. It is so hard to look at. I damn near ended up like Ray Charles 15 fucking times watching these episodes, bruh. It is so annoying to look at these people. From the flashing red eyes of Sledge, to the pink of Poisandra, to the red of Fury, to the blue dude running around. It is awful to look at these villains, bruh. It is extremely tiring because there's so much color coming at you in every scene they're in. Outside of that, y'all know Poisandra is the fucking SWAT and Babu of the season. Poisandra is the Gentrax the Toxica. You feel me? Poisandra is the little villain that sits on the side and is an annoyance the entire damn season. She's a bother. She's not even really worth discussing anymore. We know she wants to get married to Sledge, and her character basically exists this season for that. When you get past Poisandra, you talk about Fury. Fury is the second in command to Sledge. He is our Ecliptor. He is our... What was the dude from Wild Force? I'm messing up. But y'all know he is our...
Who are you? I am the Duke Org. Zenaku.
Wolf dude from Wild Force. Dang, I fucked up that name. But he is that villain of the show for us. And he's there a lot. Honestly, if I was to match up the screen time between him and Sledge, I'm pretty sure it's a landslide. He got a lot more screen time, whether it was just dialogue or it was an actual battle during the season. He's arguably the main bad guy of season 1, especially when you tie in Tyler's father to the equation. Sledge, our ultimate bad guy, is such a disappointment. Like I said, he was set up as a mutant bounty hunter who would go around the galaxy collecting asteroids, items, and monsters. So there's already a very interesting possibility to make that character somebody dangerous. What kind of code does this character have? What are his do's? What are his don'ts? What is he driven by? Is it money? Is it power? There's all these interesting elements they could have dove into for the character, but they didn't do it. He's up there grumbling and mumbling.
I sent you to destroy the Rangers, but now there's even more of them!
Indeed, I failed, but no one wants revenge as badly as I do. Give me another chance.
My patience will run out, just like your 9 lives!
Just like the dude from SPD, fucking Grom and shit. He's a waste of a villain. Could have been more. He's one of the weakest parts of this season. A little bit past the middle portion of the season, we start to get more Rangers that are introduced to the team. That's right, I said more Rangers with an S. Plural, meaning more than one. Woo! Language arts teacher here, baby. Teaching them kids them nouns, teaching them kids them verbs. But anyway, we get multiple Rangers later on in the season, right? And when you get introduced to these Rangers, one thing I kind of wanted to see was more awkwardness from the Ranger team. I wanted to see people being added that weren't the typical young adults they already chose. I wanted somebody that was a complete opposite of Tyler, complete opposite of Riley. And we got that. They gave us the Gold Ranger, who is Sir Ivan. Sir Ivan is a knight from the 13th century. And the way his plot line links up with the gold Energem, I thought was so beautiful. I thought that it was wonderfully done. How they were able to pull out another historical figure, so to speak, and make that person a ranger along with modern rangers and a caveman. I thought that that was nice because it kind of gives this team a whole different flair when you have two different fish out of water, Koda and Sir Ivan. Later on, we get a Purple Ranger. First Purple Ranger we've had since RJ in Jungle Fury. And the Purple Ranger that we get first is an old man. That's right. They did it, y'all. They motherfucking did it. They busted out the Viagra Rangers. They busted out the Cialis Power Rangers. That's right. They got motherfucking gout. They got motherfucking arthritis. They back is tightening up. They got a bad foot and a fucked up knee. We got old Rangers on the show. And it was awkward as hell seeing an old dude do a morphin sequence with some young cats.
It's morphin' time! Dino Charger! Ready! Ready? Energize!
The look on my face was like, am I getting trolled? Is this a parody? Did I click on the right thing? I'm like, what is this? It was definitely a little weird seeing Albert be the Purple Ranger. But the storyline in general for Dino Charge and how the Energems bond with individual Rangers at different points of their life is very, very impressive writing. Because it's not like Dino Thunder where Kira, Ethan, and Connor just kind of walk into the Dino Lab and go, whoo, what's this? Here it's a little bit different where they're not only bonding with them, but said person has to display certain types of qualities in order to be chosen for that Energem. And we saw Albert was in the mountains, snowy mountains. There was a little girl that was lost. He sacrificed his life to go up there and save her.
So, Albert, how did you bond to your Energem?
About a year ago, our town was hit with a freak snowstorm. My friends were hiking in the mountains and their sweet little girl Cindy got lost.
Help!
I was the only one with a chance of finding her. I know the mountains like the back of my hand.
Don't worry, little lady. Albert's got you now.
What's this?
And after he did that, the Energem started glowing. We saw that with Tyler. All of the looking, all of the hoping he was doing to find his father, the red Energem started glowing. We saw Shelby being willing to protect Tyler in a tough situation. The pink Energem started glowing. Energems choosing their partners based upon them doing the right thing was a dope concept and a way that you can show people being heroic before they get powers. I don't want to see what your ass gonna do after you got powers. I want to see your character before you got it. And their character was high quality. Good ass writing. Speaking of good ass writing, speaking of knowing how to play something at different points of the season for that tension to build up with the audience, for that anticipation to grow within us, they did a really good job of displaying a Ranger relationship that could possibly bloom to become romantic. They did a much better job than Gia and Jake. They did a much better job than Mike and Emily. They did a better job than Dylan and Summer from RPM. And y'all know I love RPM. For Dino Charge, we have Tyler, the Red Ranger, and we have Shelby, the Pink Ranger. They're in a very interesting kind of a relationship, right? They end up unlocking their morpher powers together at the same time. They save each other's lives at the same time. They meet each other before anybody else did in that moment. So when you look at them and you see that Shelby likes Tyler, the writers placed it at key moments of the first season. We see Shelby and Tyler kind of have a picnic, right? Where they're getting close together. We have other episodes where it's just him and her together fighting, or him and her talking to each other away from everybody else. They found a nice way to make that relationship a point of emphasis for those characters, but not the entire reason why they fucking existed. Jake and Gia. There's other reasons for these people existing beyond penis and vagina shit. And I thought that Dino Charge did a damn good job at making us care about this relationship as it built it up. And I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with their relationship on the romantic level for Dino Supercharged. A lot of big questions. As we get ready to wrap up this review, y'all know your boy oftentimes don't talk about Zord battles, right? Because some of them are just so boring, and it's hard for my mind to escape the realities of man in a suit, man in a suit, man in a suit, man in a fucking suit. It's hard for me to escape that mentally. But for Dino Charge, I was able to escape it, y'all. They do some things with this Zord and the individual battleizers and this season that I thought was really, really creative, right? There's moments where the Rangers are fighting and the Zords are fighting beside them in a different area. I thought that was so damn cool. I'm up here like, bruh, how come Power Rangers ain't done this before? Hey, if there's a big ass group of putties, why can't I call my Zord to take out the herd of putties over there while me and the Rangers fight this group of putties over here? That was beautifully done within the season. I also enjoyed that we saw the smarts of Kendall, who is their alpha, back at their hideout, really coming to fruition when it came to the Zords. I thought that that was a brilliant way to take her character. Even before she became the Purple Ranger, we saw her smarts within the Zord battles and the Zord configurations, making her a key asset to the team before she got powers. It actually felt like the character served a real purpose. Tensu, we talking to your little ass. I thought the character was really cool, and how they implemented her with Zords was dope as hell for the season. I actually enjoyed not just the individual Zords, but the Mega Zords as well. Dino Charge put a smile on my face, y'all. Let's talk about the finale and how everything ended. One of the best cliffhangers I have seen for Power Rangers in a long time. We see at the end of the season that they have now 8 Energems in their possession as a team, right? And with them having 8 Energems, there's only 2 more for them to get. So Kendall says, hey, Tyler, Shelby, Chase, and Riley, y'all can go back to your lives and how things previously were. I'm going to keep Koda and Sir Ivan, and we're going to go look for these last 2 Energems. Now, Shelby and Tyler wind up going off to go look for Tyler's father together. That puts them in a very interesting predicament for how those characters could evolve for season 2 and where that relationship could go. We also see that there's a very powerful monster that winds up escaping from Sledge's ship after it's crashed. We don't know how powerful this monster is, but it's going to throw a wrench in the plans for Dino Supercharge, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do for season 2 of this season. Now, Power Rangers Dino Charge. What does it get? What does it deserve? Power Rangers Dino Charge gets a mother freaking B. That's right. That's motherfucking right. I know somebody was like, he don't give it a C. Nah, y'all. This season of Power Rangers has the most likable team I've seen in a long time. People that are coming from different walks of life, much like they did in Lost Galaxy. But when they form a team, it's something truly special. This shows you guys that Saban still has it. Saban still has that quick hand, the ability to write a good Power Ranger story. But for the last 4 years, Samurai, Megaforce, they didn't give a shit. And that's very depressing because they can do it. And Dino Charge proves that. Now, it's been weird, but it's been real. Y'all know we gonna talk about that motherfucking Super Dino Charge or Dino Supercharge. I gotta get you saying that next week. Before we end the video. He did it, y'all. He did it. It wasn't no sweep. I wanted it to be a sweep, but he did it. Goat James. Goat. Luggo. Ron James got that 4th ring, y'all. It was a special night. I had chicken, I had fish, and I had a gyro. It was a special night. Goat James. Alright. Get out of here, bitch.
Yeah, I'm so fly, but you knew though. Like to mix it up, my different items like Menudo. Don't force a nigga, I'm the nigga strange like I'm Hugo. Your mama check a nigga, watch a rollie or a Hugh blow. Like it really matters, I came with 4 seasons. They think a lot about my cars, like my new Beamer. Your girl dipping in my seats, you should probably leave her. Nerd nigga with the glasses and the short season.